So Barret is covering Dyne and protected him from the really bad stormtrooper shots. And that's when Barret drops the bomb on Dyne that Marlene is alive.
Eleanor and Marlene are waiting for me, but I can't bring myself to join them.
Marlene, she's alive.
That causes another acting beat, right, for Dyne. That's a moment where he understandably looks quite stunned to hear that. And then Barret pulls a picture of Marlene out of his pocket.
Just turned 4. She's in Midgar.
And Dyne grabs the photo and pushes away from Barret, and he smiles at the photo.
Look at that. She's got her mommy's eyes. Hair, too.
It's like so sad.
Yeah, this was the moment where I looked at it and I was like, you couldn't have led with this, Barret? Like, this is when you do it now?
I think he couldn't have led with it, though, because Dyne was acting crazy right at the beginning. And how do you tell a crazy person something true and have them digest it?
Hell, Marlene, set a place for Barret.
Marlene, she's alive.
Well, it's true. When Dyne has that moment where he's like, what am I doing? It feels like...
Then it was a moment of realization.
I'm finally connecting with the original Dyne.
Right.
And so now Barrett's like, look.
He's in the real world, so now it's his moment. Exactly. So then Barret continues to explain what happened.
After everything went down, I didn't know what to do. Myrna was dead, and I figured you were too. All I had was guilt and regret, and the weight of it was too much. But Marlene gave me the strength to carry on. She nearly died that day. House was about to come down when I heard her crying. And ever since, she's been my reason to get up in the morning.
And I want to go back to that strong theme there. So I totally believe in this theme. I think it's an awesome theme. I love that the writers put this in here because it's really good.
Marlene gave me the strength to carry on.
That's the theme of the value that you have for yourself when you serve somebody else, right? So especially somebody who's relying on you, and how it can bring real meaning and real purpose to somebody's life, right? So a perfect example of this, and the literal example of this in this game even, is raising children, right? Mm-hmm. They require incredible sacrifice, but they bring a lot of joy and a lot of purpose beyond just about anything else. And honestly, it's joy and purpose that you don't know about until you experience it. So people who don't have kids, and remember, I didn't have my first kid until I was pretty old. So I was not a mother for a very long time. And I never really quite understood. And some people who don't have kids might even be completely annoyed when somebody's like, you should have kids. It brings you joy and purpose. And it's like, okay, well, my dog brings me joy and purpose. I had dogs and I thought that way. You cannot know until you have children the joy and purpose that they bring into your lives. And that's why your annoying friends who have children talk about it all the time, because it's so true. And there's no way that you can know unless you experience it. It's just, the dog is not the same thing. I love my dog. I ran with my dog. I was like, my dogs are like my obsession before I had kids. I had kids. It was crazy how much they got pushed aside.
We still have dogs.
It was not even the same. And I know some people are going to get all pissy about this, and I don't care because you don't know. Sorry. But it goes back. And one thing you can know, and you do know, and we all probably have witnessed in one way or another, is just how fulfilling and purposeful you can feel when you serve somebody else to a strong degree. And that's what's happening here, right? Because Barret found this little baby, and he literally raised this baby from a baby, carried him on his back, made sure she's taken care of and got food when they had nothing. He was focused on helping her. It kept him out of himself. It kept him he didn't have to think about what was so horrible in his life because he was serving somebody else. It gave him purpose. And that can come from serving, any loved one, I think, which can be really big. And that helped him not be bitter and vengeful and rageful when his own friend had no such motivating driver. And you see how he turned out.
Yeah, I think that's such a good parallel, because when you say that these are two people who had a choice to make, and one person chose to go one way and the other person went this way, Barret had something different that Dyne didn't have, right? Barret had Marlene. Dyne didn't have anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the determining factor.
Yeah, and so it's like something to take care of. And I like the fact that Marlene isn't Barrett's biological daughter.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be by blood.
So a lot of times when we say having kids will change your life, it doesn't have to be by blood. Me and Jolie have kids together, and it's the most amazing thing that I've ever done in my life. But there's many people who can't have kids, or there's people that Jolie.
maybe I'm biased because I'm miserable physically every day, and it has to be worth it in the end, right?
Right, but I do love this theme that sacrificing your own wants and needs to care for someone who's
right.
more vulnerable and needs you, and it actually leads to the happiness you didn't think you were going to have, right? Because
yes,
you think about how your life could be better and all the trips you could go on and all the you could go out to eat and all that stuff. I haven't spent a night away from the kids.
I don't think ever.
And I've
No,
I've never have.
Oh yeah, you haven't. I have because I have to go on work trips.
Anyway, I'm Mr. Mom at home and I take care of the kids, and Jolie's the one that's working. But so she goes on work trips, but I haven't spent a night away from the children, which is maybe crazy. Maybe that's TMI to like.
Well, a lot of us had a similar experience because of COVID, right?
That's when our kids were born.
I'm the same. Like the few times I've been away from them, it's been because I was either on a work trip or at one of these like, gaming conventions, which is sort of like a work trip for this thing.
It's a good kind of work trip.
But wandering off into random places for time, that ends like pretty quickly after you have children.
It's so true. Your life changes. It takes immense sacrifice.
Right. But my point is, it's like there's all these fun things that you think you're missing out on, but you're not missing out.
Yeah.
It brings fulfillment and joy to your life. And I love that a game like Final Fantasy Rebirth
has a theme like that.
Is delving into these themes where it's like Barret is like, we collect figures and we're nerding and geeking out over his Gatling arm. But deep down inside, he's this loving father whose life was changed because he chose to sacrifice it for someone else, which is amazing.
I completely agree. And like I completely agree with myself.
That's a surprise.
No, but I'll tell you. So again, I didn't have kids until I was later. And that's just one form of selfless sacrifice, right? There are other ways that you can sacrifice and get out there. You can go to like homeless shelters. You can work for nonprofit organizations and help other people. Like there are fulfilling ways to sacrifice that can give you purpose in life. But I'll tell you also, I've done the hobnobbing with celebrities. I've been to the Hollywood parties. I've played short films that I've made at these big red carpet events, and I've been acknowledged as being successful in those ways. And I'll tell you, nothing we see in lights, from my perspective, brought fulfillment like it does to sacrifice for somebody else. That's personal opinion, but I will preach it till I die because I found it to be so extremely true, having seen both sides so much.
Way to go, Japan, and Barret being such a good dad.
Good job, writers. Good job, Ernest.
Feel bad for you, Dyne.
I agree that definitely is a huge difference here, right? Like I could see where, Dyne had nothing. Literally everything was taken from him. So his path was much different from Barret's in that Barret wanted to live, but definitely led a faction of an eco-terrorism organization. So you could make the argument they both went down destructive paths, one better than the other.
Yeah, they both have their destructive issues.
Yes.
Anger management.
They both come with baggage.
Say that again.